Okay, so here is a short tutorial which should give you a good idea about what to expect for your January exams. The idea behind this is quite simple, just so you have the information at your fingertips ready to revise from and ready to do your exam to the best of your ability. So the first thing to mention is that you're absolutely not alone, even though you'll be revising alone over the Christmas holidays. You have a lot of information at your fingertips. So really, what we're going to try and do today is talk through the 2019 paper. That's the only paper that we actually have. That's the only paper that was sat, because obviously last year was cancelled. And we're going to talk through that in order to try and give you the confidence going into January. First thing to mention is that time is not your friend within this particular exam, because it's a trial exam. Everything is going to be truncated. For the news section, you have only 1 hour. It's for 45 marks, so it's just over a minute a mark. So the most important thing really is don't miss out any questions, otherwise you'll be shooting yourself in the foot. But attack all of your questions, move on, be succinct, be accurate, and get on to the next question. So let's look at the 2019 paper. Here it is. It will look something like this, and these are the sources that you have been given. I'll print this out for you, so you should hopefully have these out in front of you. It's a front page of the Mirror and a front page of the Daily Mail. Bear in mind that you'll never get a Daily Mail and Guardian to compare within this source-based extract. You might have two different types of paper. It might be a front cover and a website, for example. And for your trial exam, I can tell you that that is exactly what will happen. You'll have a front page of a newspaper, and then you'll have a website to analyse. So make sure you're not just analysing the codes and conventions of newspaper front covers, but you're also looking at the websites as well. So here we have the Daily Mail and the Mirror. And the question here for question 1 is analyse the different social and cultural representations in sources A and B. Apply Hall's theory of representation in your answer. So you can see the format of the question. It's going to look something like this. What I can tell you is, for your January exam, the theorists that are going to be detailed within the first question are all going to be representation theorists. So the most important thing for you to do is to make a table like this, where you outline all of the representation theorists. This is really just so you can tick off all the boxes to make sure that you know all the theorists, so no matter who comes up, you are ready and waiting with some good examples, and you'll know how to apply it to different sorts of papers, to both tabloids and to broadsheets. So we've got Hall, Gauntlet, Van Zunen, Bell Hooks, Butler, and Gilroy. My suggestion to you is, if you have a look at the theorist booklet that we gave you, that's absolutely fine. Failing that, you can go straight onto the OCR website, go onto the specification, and all of the theorists are detailed there. And just to be clear, this is all the information that you need to know. Just the information that's in the specification, that's all the information that you need to know. So if you scroll down to representation, there you have your media representation theorists. What I suggest you do is you then take it back to this this table and fill them out. Once you've done that, you should be able to answer this question pretty simply. It is a 10-mark question. You should take no more than 13 minutes answering this particular question. So this particular question here asks you to analyse both source A and B, both the Mirror and the front cover of the Mail, and it asks you to apply Hall's theory of representation in your answer. It's fairly straightforward. Top line, give what the theory is, apply it to source A, apply it to source B, and conclude. 13 minutes, move on. This table is going to be pretty important later on for question 4, for reasons I'll explain later on. So now you're on to question 2. It's a longer question. It's 15 marks, and this should take you no longer than 20 minutes to write. Again, fundamentally, the questions are, or what you need to do is highlighted within the question here. You're again looking at sources A and B. It will usually be the same news event, but it'll be from 2 different sorts of newspaper, from 2 different newspapers. The question here is, how far have the media conventions been used to construct viewpoints in source A and B? It says here, outline the conventions, analyze the contrasting use of symbolic codes, and make judgments. So it's a 3-part question. Firstly, this is AO1, so you just need to know what the conventions of the front pages of tabloid newspapers and broadsheets are. In this case it's tabloid newspapers, but you will need to know what the conventions of tabloid newspapers and broadsheets are. That's just something you need to learn, and you need to find out if you don't know already. You'll need to know the conventions of the papers that are shown. You can't wing this, so you just need to sit down and think about what the different newspapers and the different types of newspaper and what the codes and conventions of them are. As I've said before, one will be a newspaper front cover and the other will be a news website. So with that in mind, you need to be thinking about what are the conventions of a broadsheet website and what are the conventions of a broadsheet. And if you see something different when it comes to January, why is it different, and why are those genres and conventions being subverted or adhered to? Now, the third part of the question, this third bullet point, is the final 5 marks of this longer essay question. It's make judgments and reach conclusions on the way media conventions construct viewpoints and ideologies. And it's this part that people often forget. You need to draw conclusions, so you need to explain, are the representations that you see in source A and B effective at persuading the people that are reading the paper anyway? And if not, why not? So this comes down to, have people made up their mind already by buying the paper in the first place? Have they been persuaded by the paper, by the messages and the ideologies that have been presented? And if not, why not? So it goes back again to thinking about what are the genre codes and conventions of these newspapers. Are they satisfied within the sources that you have seen, or are they subverted? And if so, why have they done that? This is the part that is quite difficult for students to understand. I can appreciate that, but it's very important that you do come to the conclusion that, are the messages that are being put forward here effective to the target audience? Now, question 3 is the context question, and as you know, it could be economic context or cultural or social context or political context. And what I can tell you is that the question that you will get in January will be on political contexts. This particular question is on economic context, so how does the money that comes in, or the money that is used to fund the Guardian and Daily Mail, how does that affect the distribution of newspapers? Okay, but in your January exam, you will have a question on political context. So I'm telling you that now so you can get up to speed on what the political context is. This is another 10 marker. It's 30 minutes. It's just knowledge based, so you don't need to do any analysis here. So you should be able to prepare for this question, bearing in mind that you know that it's going to be focusing on the Daily Mail and the Guardian, just as this question is here, because part of your case study. You should be able to get up to speed on what the Daily Mail and the Guardian represent and what their political values are. Fundamentally, you need to understand that the political context of newspapers in this country tends to be it's a free market economy, of course, and the papers operate on a freedom of the press basis. So the idea that the press is the fourth estate, that it holds powerful people to account, is absolutely fundamental to understanding the political contexts of any paper that you look at. You know that, generally speaking, the purposes of papers are to sell papers. That's why a lot of papers exist. That's why Lord Rothermere owns the Daily Mail, to sell more copies and to sell more advertising space, because of the free market economy. So this is why you can say that the newspaper industry is an oligopoly, that it's owned by a few people, as per this infographic that you've seen before, that 3 companies own 80% of the newspaper market. So it is an oligopoly. You can also mention that The Guardian only has a 10% share, which is very small in comparison. So you need to be aware that because of the oligopolistic nature of the newspaper industry, that it needs to be regulated. But the problem is that the regulators, by their very nature, by regulating, are going against the idea of a free press, because they're saying you can and you can't print certain things. So that then can lead to political lines being drawn. As you know, the Mirror is left-wing, the Telegraph is right-wing. So that's where the political context comes into place. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that the question will be on political context. It will surround the Daily Mail and the Guardian. You won't know the exact wording of the question, but you know it will be something like, explain how political contexts affect the Guardian and the Daily Mail. So with that information in mind, you should be able to formulate some sort of structure for which to answer a question such as this. And don't forget, all of these questions should have a macro emphasis to it. So do mention that three companies own over 80% of the UK newspaper market. That is how you start off an answer. Okay, let's have a quick look at question number 4 then. Evaluate the usefulness of one of the following theories in understanding audience for online newspapers such as The Guardian and the Mail Online. So this is again looking to a case study and looking to see if you've done your research online about the Guardian and the Daily Mail. Remember, these 2 questions, both 3 and 4, are absolutely pinned in your understanding and your research before you go into the exam. There's no analysis here. So if you don't know the Daily Mail's website, you don't know the Guardian's website inside out, you don't know their codes and conventions, this Christmas holiday is the time to get familiar with it. The word evaluate is absolutely crucial here. First of all, you need to choose one of the theorists which are presented here, and then you need to apply one of the theorists to the focus of the question. So in this case, it's understanding audience use of online newspapers. So you need to find whether you'd be more happier talking about Jenkins' urban audience use or Bandura's media effects theory. Now, what I can tell you, again, to help you out, that one of the theorists will be Bandura's media effects, so you need to know that one inside out. And the other theorist will be a representation theorist, which you will have hopefully drawn a table for in question 1 of the table that looks something like this. So it will be one of these that you will, the or theorist will be one of these guys here, and the other one will be Bandura. So you will know which theorists will come up. I'm giving you a fair amount of warning, and quite simply, you outline the theory, explain how it's effective, and explain the limitations. And then you move on. Remind you that you are not alone, and that there are videos here to help you. This is a 2-part news question 3 video spread over 15 minutes each, which will help you answer question 3. Do remember, though, this talks about question 3 as if you were going to sit the summer exam, not your January exam, so the focus here will be on political contexts. And the other one here is the media question 4 question, which again you can go ahead and look at your leisure, and hopefully give you a little bit more confidence to answer some of these questions, bearing in mind, as I said before, the focus will be on Bandura's media effect, and the other one will be a representation theorist. So I hope that's helpful. I hope it's given you some focus for your revision, and have a good look at this past paper Again, it's just the news bit that we'll be looking at, or that you need to look at in this regard, and just try and familiarise yourself with some of the questions and some of the ways that the questions are being asked. As always, make sure you read the question, answer it fully.